Gerald from the Senzor Learning Center, and today we're going to talk a little bit about curses. In particular, some of the ways that you can acquire curses that most people don't realize, that even if you know a little bit about curse activity, you may not realize some of these different and unusual ways that you can, and common, yet common ways that you can actually acquire curse activity into your energy field. Typically when curses occur, the way it happens, they're just, all curses actually are negative thought forms. They're a particular type of a negative thought form that usually has a very strong anger component to it. A common way that a curse would develop is someone that you end up with is someone has an issue with you. Usually there's an air of injustice involved. So someone has an issue with you, they think, they blame you for something, they think something that either created some form of injustice in their mind, in their life, or with someone that they know or care about, or something that they know or care about. And so they get angry about it, and they think about it. Maybe it's a one-time thing of getting very mad. Maybe they fester about it, but they end up forming this thought ball. And you're the target of the thought ball, or what you represent is the target of the thought ball, and it creates a type of magnetic resonance, and the thought ball ends up traveling through the energetic highways that we're all connected with, and it's kind of like having an arrow hurled at you, and you end up with a blast of the energy that's in that negative thought form. These things can be problematic because it creates a type of negative resonance in your energy system. You become magnetically attractive in a non-beneficial way, and whatever the content of the curse is, you can begin to attract those situations into your life, and that can be very problematic. It can create everything from your finances, causing an almost instant decrease in your financial activity or your financial well-being. It can affect your health, can cause aches and pains just overnight, instantly, the minute the curse. I've had that happen to me, that literally the second the curse hits my energy field, a pain somewhere in my body. Usually if you pay attention to your body, you'll actually be able to feel negative energy exchanges like this when they do happen. And often there are very particular signatures, like I'll get a very particular type of pain in my lower back when I'm hit with particular types of energetic exchanges. So anyway, the long and the short of it is that's usually how curses, or that's a very commonly understood way that curses would work, or how you would acquire them. But there are other ways that can happen, and I'm not going to say that they're typical, but they certainly are common. I guess they are typical. They certainly are common, as common with some people, probably more common than the standard way that curses are acquired. Now, before I get into this, I want to just qualify the type of curse activity that I'm talking about here, because I'll go over these different types of acquisition methods, and then I'm going to give you one method that is a great basic method for tackling simple curses. But do understand that today I'm talking about basic or simple curses. Curses can range, there's a very broad range of this type of energetic exchange. It can go anywhere from, you walk out into your driveway, and you've got a scratch on your car, and you say, damn it, usually that word is involved, damn it, so-and-so, and you're thinking about the guy that parks next to you at the office, so-and-so scratched my car, and in that moment, because you love your car, maybe you just bought it, you spent a ton of money, in that moment you have this heated thought, you're angry, you think an injustice has been done, and boom, a thought ball is created, and it's hurled towards that guy that parks next to you every day at work. And so it can be that simple, the way curses are formed. The people who create the curse, 99.99% of these people have no idea that they're hurling any kind of energy that can harm you. But in fact, the energy can harm you. They're certainly aware that they're upset with you, that they've got an issue with you, that they've had a momentary thought of harm coming to you, some type of, one thing that curses have in common is that there's an element of ill will in the thought package. That's what makes them curses instead of some other type of energetic exchange, which there are many. But anyway, they can form that simply. The range of curses goes from everything from that, all the way up to things like voodoo and the very darkest, deepest, trenches of black magic. And the technique I'm going to show you for dealing with curses and the type of curses that I'm talking about today are not that dark end of the spectrum. So just understand that it is a very, very broad category, and you can learn more about the different levels of that category as you heighten your metaphysical awareness of things like this in general. But three of the ways that you might not be familiar with that curses can easily be acquired. One is, and this is pretty darn common, photographing curses from other people's energy fields. In other words, they've been cursed by someone, and you spend time with them. It might be physically, it might be on the phone, it might even be via email, believe it or not, and you end up with a photograph of the curse that was hurled at them. And it doesn't matter how the energy gets into your energy system. Once you have a copy, think of it as a file. A file of information. Once you have acquired that file of information, the content within that file creates a magnetic resonance with you. It's like radiating from you, and you will begin attracting circumstances in your life that match the content of the file. So we definitely don't want to be picking up stuff like this, but this happens more often than you would realize. I'm going to tell you a story when I give you a little quick tutorial on how to clear curses. I'm going to tell you a story of how something like this happened to me just the other day. And with a person that I barely knew. I acquired a curse through this photographic method. The second way that curses can be acquired is through objects that have been saturated with curse energy. Someone is holding something like a photograph, it could be, or their glasses, or there's an object involved of importance where that somehow you are connected with. And the heated energy, the negative energy, actually gets, because of the involvement of the object, or the fact that the presence of the object, the proximity to the person who has the negative energy, it's like the object takes the photograph, kind of like number one, but now we have an object taking a photograph. Sometimes objects, if they're handled, and an example would be a grievance letter, literally get a direct transfer of the curse energy into the letter itself. I had this happen to me a number of years ago. I've had it happen to me more than once, but one episode comes to mind. A number of years ago, a gal, for a variety of reasons, just got incredibly ticked off with me and sent me a letter. I thought I was receiving this nice little letter. I opened up the letter, and it was a letter of these various grievances she had with me. And as I read down the letter, probably 15 seconds into it, I literally felt the wave of energy come off the letter. It was just embedded in the letter, and it just hit me, kind of like a big wall of wind just hitting me. So it can be, and I had a massive curse in my energy field just from opening the letter and reading the letter. And so something like that can happen. It's very, very common with complaint letters. You might work for a business where you handle a lot of complaint letters, and most of the time that's pretty mundane, benign. It's not going to hurt you. But other times you'll get some letters that the customer was so incredibly angry when they wrote the letter, and they've created a massive thought form. It got imprinted the letter. Here you are, this simple customer service person. You open the letter, and whack! Unbeknownst to you, you are blasted, and the curse is emblazoned that they don't have an issue with you. They don't even know who you are. They have an issue with your company, and you're the representative, and you open that letter, and wham, that curse is in your energy field. So if the conditions are right, and there are some conditions which I'll talk about in a moment, but that's another way we can get curses. And again, you can begin to see with this and this, number one and two, that curse activity is more common than you might ever imagine, and you probably pick up curses much more frequently than you realize. So that's number one and number two. Number three is what I call group association. You might belong to particular groups or participate in particular organizations that other organizations or individuals have issues with. And organizations end up developing a type of what I call organizational entities, like thought forms that can get blasted almost like a person can get blasted. And the organization itself can actually acquire curse energy from folks who are disgruntled with the organization. A common example would be political groups. You might have the Republicans and the Democrats. They have their different opinions, especially at election time. They're hurling curses, negative thought balls all over the place, even though they certainly understand that they're angry or they're disgruntled or they feel injustices have been done or whatever. Do they know that they're hurling curse activity that can harm people? Absolutely not. But the fact is, thought forms develop. Now, if you heavily identify yourself as a Democrat, let's say, and let's say you're volunteering and you're working with the election or whatever, then you're heavily identified with the group, you could literally photograph curse activity that is hurled at the group. And then you start experiencing different experiences that the group as a whole is having. As a byproduct, whatever that content of that curse package is. So those are 3 different ways that, again, are ways that you might not think of, or you might not have thought of until today, that you can actually acquire curse energy. Now, how did I deal? I mentioned earlier that I picked up just a couple days ago. I only found out about it this morning. I was checking myself before filming the video. I thought, hey, I'm going to check and see if I've got any curses. I had checked myself not long ago, maybe a week ago or several days ago, and thought it was pretty clean, but lo and behold, I checked. I just used dowsing to see if I had any active, this was my dowsing question, if you know how to dowse or you know how to muscle test. I simply asked, do I have any active curse activity in my system, any active curses? I usually say curses, spells, or hexes, but do I have any active curses, spells, or hexes in my energy system at this time? I got a yes. I said, oh, when did I pick up a curse? How many do I have? And I had 1. And I got, well, when did I pick this up? And I dowsed, I got it 2 days ago. Really? Where did I get it from? Did someone hurl a curse at me directly? No. Okay, that was my dowsing answer. So did I photograph it somewhere? And again, number 1, did I photograph it somewhere? Yes. Okay, where did I get it? From a mail? From a place? You can also pick up curses from places. Did I get it from a place? No. Did I get it from a person? Yes. These, again, are just my dowsing questions to show you how I would do it. Yeah, I got it from a person. Is it a male? It's a female. It's female. Did I have physical contact with them? Yes. And I start, thinking, who did I have physical contact with? All of a sudden, I have a flash in my mind of a neighbor that I happened to run into as I was walking around the block 2 days ago. Now, I have never even met this neighbor. It was the first time I ever met this one, and I ended up photographing a curse that she had in her energy field. Now, how did I get rid of it? Number 1, how did I get rid of it? And number 2, how did I get it in the first place? Why did I so quickly photograph? We only talked for 2 minutes. We don't know each other. There's no kind of emotional, strong energy between us. How did I end up picking up a copy of this woman's curse? Well, it ends up the curse that she had in her energy field was very, very strong. So when someone has a curse that's got a lot of charge on it, it's easier for you to photograph it. And here's what was in the curse. Now, one of the methods that you can use to clear basic curses, again, this isn't going to work for everything, but it's going to work for very basic, simple curses, like what I'm describing here. You can use what I call the word exchange method, and you just get either a dictionary, or in my case, I have these gigantic lists of negative emotional energies, just lists of words that I've collected for, well, gosh, going on like 15, almost 20 years now. So they're nice, big lists of what often shows up as the content in negative emotional energy exchanges between people. And I just doused the list. So I doused, and here's what was in the content of the curse that was in her energy field that I photographed. These are words that describe the energies involved in whatever the situation was that created the curse. Now, I don't know what's going on with this woman. I don't know all the details of her life. But here's what was in it. Not working energy, encumbered, bankrupt, immobilized, abatement, conspiring, magician, encircled, discounted, and endangered. Now that's 10 simple words, but that word combination is almost like the ingredients in a soup, and that adequately describes the content of the curse package. Whoever hurled the curse at her, these are what are called memory keys, or key tones that describe the disgruntlement, the sense of injustice. And anyway, it's very, very interesting, because I learned in the 2-minute conversation that I had with this woman that, I mean, truly 2-3-minute conversation, that she has a boarder, a tenant living with her, renting a room in her house. And instead of just saying hi as we walked by, she actually stopped and she said, you know, I heard from one of our other neighbors that you're a dowser. And she says, I've got this gal living with me who you may have heard from our mutual friend who's a neighbor also, that this gal is having difficulties with energies, with electromagnetic energies. And she actually is getting very worked up about it. I'm starting to have a lot of trouble with it. And I wondered if you might be able and willing to help this gal, if you know about this subject, about earth energies, or not earth energies, about electromagnetic energies. Apparently this gal was really upset about smart meter activity in the neighborhood, which we have very, very little of. But the long and the short of it is I said, well, you know, have her call me and I'd certainly be willing to talk with her for a few minutes. But it was this gal, this boarder that, and my neighbor does not know this, but that's where she got the curse from. Because the gal who's living there is upset enough about the energetic situation that she's built up emotional energy and she blasted this neighbor of mine. So the energies, how did I get the photocopy? Well, you can't just arbitrarily take a photocopy of someone else's energy like that. It doesn't just happen by accident. Even acquiring a curse that someone hurls directly at you, even if it was very, very purposeful, all the way up to black magic, you cannot acquire an energy transfer from someone unless you've got something in your own energy system that has at least an itsy-bitsy level of resonance, meaning similarity to what is in the curse package. So how did I photograph this curse? Of this energy that this gal had hurled at my neighbor. Well, not working. I checked the things that I had some level of resonance with. And you can do this on your own. You can actually douse the list of words that you come up with, and you can say, this is what I say, or what I ask. I ask, what's making me sticky? Sticky, S-T-I-C-K-Y. What's making me sticky? How did I get this? How did I catch it? Almost like a cold. Well, here's how I caught it. Not working, immobilized, magician, and endangered. Not working energy is interesting. I'm working, you know, I've got a happy career and all that kind of thing, moving right along. But just the other day, I had a conversation with my sister, and her husband is not working. He just recently retired, and she's now the breadwinner. They really need to you know, have an income coming in still at this point. And she's a little bit worried about that. And I went into a strong empathetic state with her and her worries about, you know, her husband not working at this point in time and her feeling that now the whole financial thing lays on or rides on her shoulders. And I empathized with that for a short time. And I picked up some not working energy from her because I focused on it. The other thing is immobilized energy. What's that all about? Well, the last few days, maybe the last week, I have had some energy stuff come up in my house, some naturally occurring energy that has caused some stiffness in my body. And I haven't taken the time to fix it just yet. It's not critical, but in fact it has affected my joints and my muscles. And when I get up in the morning, I'm having trouble actually, you know, walking easily. Kind of like being immobilized. And even though I can walk, but the point is it does match this immobilized energy. The magician energy is interesting because I've been doing all this work and research, putting together a trip, my next trip. Every year I do at least one or two field study programs for the Sensar Learning Center in Ireland. And this year I'm doing a really fun trip that involves the nature kingdom and all the invisible beings that occupy the nature kingdom and help the trees and plants and all that type of thing. But I've been doing some research on druid activity. And I think built up some magician energy in my system. And so I resonated to that. And lastly, there have been a couple endangered. There have been a couple situations that have come up in the last 2 weeks, which is very interesting, where I have felt a teeny bit endangered by certain circumstances. So I had endangered, magician, immobilized, and not working, and that's how I caught the curse. So I just tell you that just to make the point that this isn't, it takes two to tangle. It's to tango, I guess is the phrase. I'm going to change it to it takes two to get entangled. we have to have something going on in our own energy system in order for us to acquire gnarly stuff from other people. And so before you go pointing the fingers, that darn Joe, he cursed me, or, I got this and that energy exchange from, Betty or whatever it is, remember that this simply cannot happen if you don't have some magnetic attraction in your own system. Your job is to keep yourself clear of the sticky factor. That's the key to avoiding things like that. But I will tell you, it's almost impossible to keep yourself perfectly clear of the sticky factor. Energetic exchanges are happening quite regularly, and we have our own emotional issues that can create sticky points as well. So, but that's how it works. Now, how do you clear something like this? Again, it's pretty darn easy. I'm going to use the same method. I simply douse my massive lists of positive energies. And these were the words that came up. Prana, abundance, riches, accredit, manifest. I don't question why, I just douse what words can I get the antidote, 100% of the antidote, from these lists that I have in front of me, or from this dictionary that I have in front of me. Maybe you don't have my list. Maybe you're just dowsing a dictionary, or you've got your own lists. Whatever sources you're going to use, can I find 100% of the antidote energies that I need in this list or in this dictionary? Yes. And my answer this morning was yes. Okay, what are the words? And I start dowsing the list. Prana, abundance, riches, accredit, manifest, Rosicrucian. This next one was not on the list, was not on my list, but I could see it very clearly with my inner vision. If you get that you're not 100% with the words that you need, you can just use an inner vision technique. I call it the show me technique. And I see a whiteboard in my head, and I just say, well, show me what I need. And I might see an image, or I might just see words. And that's what I saw today. I saw Order of Melchizedek. I don't even know exactly what this means. I mean, I've heard of Melchizedek, but the Order of Melchizedek, I don't know what that means, but it's somehow an antidote to all of this. Exuberance, let go of ego, and safe. I said, is that 100%? Again, I'm dowsing. Is that 100%? I get yes. In muscle testing, yes, that's 100%. And I get okay. I focus my attention on the positive list. I no longer think about the negatives. And I say, please raise these energies in and around me and my environment. Please raise these energies in and around me and my environment. I did that for maybe 30 seconds, and I could literally, like butter just melting off of me, I could literally feel the curse energy lift off and transform. I like this particular method of clearing energies when we get energetic exchanges, because it's what I call a transformative method. There are methods out there that you can move the energy off of you, but often it will get caught in the environment. It'll get caught in your cat's energy field. It'll get caught someplace else. I don't like methods like that. I like transformative methods where we literally combust the negative goo. And this is one of those methods. So you get your negatives, you get your positives, and off goes the charge. So that's your little brief tutorial on how to tackle basic, very simple curses. Again, there's no one-size-that-fits-all method for dealing with curses. Even the simple curses, sometimes this type of method will not work, but it's a great starter method. You can use the same method for clearing your own emotional issues, let alone combusting negative thought balls that are curses, that have the components that we would label curse. So I hope that was helpful to you today, and I hope you'll start checking to see if you have any active curses in your energy field. Curse activity has got a strong charge on it, usually a strong anger charge, and it very often can create health issues, aches, pains. It's a very toxic energy. If the negative thought form is able to coagulate and transfer to the paper, or get across what's called the earth grid system to you to emblazon on your energy field, it's got a pretty strong charge on it, and that can have a lot of potency in regards to manifesting outcomes in your life that are undesirable outcomes. So think about this, start practicing a little bit, and good luck to you. Bye for now.